Very good gamers, how are we? This is Games and Chill, and today we are in a new video in the legendary building of KAVEH.
はじめまして、僕は建築デザイナーのカーベだ。
Today, on time apart from a build, I will also make the What about KAVEH? Briefly, because I will explain to you really why it is said to be used or not. Is used. What serves, or what does not serve, the Bloom teams. It has its pluses and its minuses, and we gives its at least second best computer, and mathematically it could enable the FA. Bloom's best game, but depends on a non-existent defensive sustainer today with The, which, because it's not viably defensive, maybe it's better to opt for Bloom's, where you have something of heating, shield, or defensiveness in general, and on the other hand, because we will see that the construction, weapons, how to get the most out of it, and how to definitely play well and correctly. Since apart from Bloom, as I've already explained on other occasions, you can play as an Alhaitham. Kid, he's not going to get to the level of what Alhaitham does, but he can share roles and teams, minimally surprising with some damage that could have KAVEH, but I repeat, not by far approaching. Alhaitham. So leave a good like, a good ulti from Fiend, subscribe, leave a good comment. Okay. See you in the directs, link down here in the description. Thanks to the computer. And thank you all for enjoying the video and the channel, and we go with the legendary build. The fact that it works or doesn't work, and all these etc. go hand in hand, like explain with your kit and its constellations. Your normal attacks are used or not used. In principle, we could say they're not used if you're going to play Bloom teams. If you're going to play teams playing Alhaitham, then at Hyper Bloom or a Great, then if they go up, as I have climbed to KAVEH. But I would say that in principle, the general recommendation for everything, the world over KAVEH, you will play KAVEH in Bloom teams next to Nilo is 1-1, and you must maximize the ulti, because in the ulti is the bonus of additional damage of the cores inside, as you see here. 58% in the elementary, there is only one hit, and a cooldown that when you max does not change with which KAVEH. Specifically for Bloom teams can go 1-1-10 or 1-1-9 or 1-8, maximizing only the ultin. Because as you see, if it is here, reflected an increase of damage in the cores within is to say in Thea. Well, how does it work, KAVEH? Well, your normal attacks, as I say in Bloom way, general are not going to be used, so it is 1-1. It's elemental, you have it every 6 seconds, 6-6-3-18, and it has cooldown of 20. Why do I say this calculation? Because KAVEH works on its rotation doing elemental. Initial to hit explode the cores inside and damage with the blooms generate particles. Throwing the ulti right after the cooldown past normal attacks on the cooldown. Throw again the elemental in the cooldown for the third time, throw back the elemental then. You'd have a first element at first, a rotation a second at 6 seconds and a third at 12 seconds, and here you leave the field with that third element that you generated many particles, so that from 12 to 20 in those 8 seconds, you throw back the elemental of Nilu and the rest of the team's combo, because Nahida, if you play Nahida, the future of Emili, if you play. Emili Shinchu is a very good companion for the Hydro application for KAVEH and others, and the combo is that elemental ulti elemental to the third elemental cooldown to the cooldown, and then the third. You leave the field that makes the elemental, as I say, because as you see it forces to explode the cores inside, and nothing else has synergy then with the cheeks, and I will explain it, and it's ulti that is the only thing that needs to rise apart from this extra climbing of 58% in the cores within. The damage of Bloom, what it does is imbue yourself from the inside with your handler so that it hits the enemies. There is a way to play KAVEH with loaded as it starts to turn your controller, and it is very interesting. But the normal one, since you gain attack speed with this constellation here, says speed. Normal attack is playing in combos of 3 normal dash, 3 normal dash, and so you max the application inside and the amount of punches you can do, that's the combo 3 normal dash, but always making the elementals cooldown so easy. The problem of your ulti is that it has AS. You see 12 seconds of use apart from the 12 of forgiveness, apart from the 20 of cooldown that has. And the 12 coincide with the elemental combo that I explained to you, but has cost 80, which is a high cost. And in that cost of 80 of energy comes your balance, let's say, as character. 4 stars, since you will have to get a recharge of hell in order to have promoting. Little more her ulti, as you can see, is that you imbued yourself from within to be a carry in field. Bloom teams, then, the first talent of Ascension is that you are immortal in the field. Literally, KAVEH, many notice that it is immortal in field, is by this talent says when KAVEH is hits for the damage inflicted by the cores inside. Remember that the Bloom teams are exploding the blooms in the field, and you're hurting the character that's in the included field. The damage of repeating and overflowing is that it can be played in crackling teams, like Carrion Field and Hyperlumen Field. Although this is not your best role, and Alhaitham will do everything. Who does KAVEH for 3 damage recovers life and 300% of his elementary mastery once. Every 0.5 is to say twice a second. That it's very clear here already if you go to Bloom and recover. Life as a function of your elementary mastery. You can see that triple mastery goes as you see. I have 800 of all. Mastery and a weapon that gives me mastery now. We talk about all this KAVEH works to mastery. And a lot of people don't understand it and don't build it naturally to full mastery for teams. Next, very easy ascent boost. When the ulti is active, when KAVEH hits a normal attack activates 25 masters 4 times for himself, i.e. 100 masters for full. That you have more mastery to activate the rest of buffos and easy bloom damage of KAVEH. You have a lot of mastery and you're going to do a lot of blooms with KAVEH to make them do a lot of damage, so it's simple. Constellations that in this banner that comes, nor will you say it good, and the constellations of KAVEH, it was said that not that Shix does not serve good, has its more and its less, but if it is more powerful. Chikes, and if it enables you the best bloom equipment, offensively speaking with many failures. Defensively, and if we consider that defensiveness, if it would enable you the second best bloom team, considering that the best bloom team in the game covers a lot better the defensive input and does not lead to KAVEH, take this into account, then the cone for 3 seconds. After using the elementary ability, General Architecture is the elementary ability that is. Here you earn 50% resistance inside so that the cores inside when you explode of bloom will make you the half damage and earn 25% of heating bonus this, so that with the cone plus this talent, here you are Immortal KAVEH in the field and the bloom teams is always full of life, and this is very powerful, is the one that I recommend first. A KAVEH cone is how it can be played in a comfortable way. Because KAVEH concretely will always be full of life, the C2 gives you within the ulti 15% of attack speed for what to make the combo of 3 normal. Give 3 normal, give 3 normal, give 3 normal. And it's your normal combo, as I explained before. This is the last is 3, and the last is 3 is very important because as you see, it gives you more bloom damage, and then C4, which is one that can cause problems. And it seems very strong, but it is not so much says increases 60% the damage of the explosion of the explosion. The cores inside created does not say exploited, says created by KAVEH with the reaction of bloom. What happens here, why it is commented KAVEH may not serve, happens that KAVEH generates some blooms, and now I explain how yes, how not, and when it is used and the mastery that is applied of KAVEH. Both the C4 that applies of KAVEH is not to the cores that exploit, is to the cores that KAVEH generates, and this makes that if you carry another inside KAVEH does not generate all the cores of bloom and does not applies on C4 or applies your mastery, this can be problems or may not be problems. Why? Because in Ajita, you can apply inside to enemies but pulses inside in Ajita. If you don't have any electros, if you don't have the cone, it's every 2.5 seconds the pulses in the joint with it. That's the only one inside that's hitting 3 normals if you play a team of KAVEH, or what is the other soul of the Nagita Bloom teams without it being the best in slot of the equipments of KAVEH. You have Hydro application of without that and of nor it, and you have an application within KAVEH and a application of Ajita out of field every 2 seconds, and Beak where KAVEH you activate most of blooms, and if you activate C4 and if you activate your mastery, but many people have wanted to try and do Estios with KAVEH in other teams that are not this school that I have explained to you where there is another inside. Like Cabbage and as the Traveler that generate faster and more continuous ticks inside, and this makes KAVEH does not activate any of these talents, and in the end feels that KAVEH is useless and loses damage. Because it's born with a good look at KAVEH because the pulses if you don't have the cone or you have electros. In the equipment and so on, in a normal bloom equipment, the pulses of the Nagita Elemental are every 2 seconds, 2 seconds. And something then you're fine, you're perfect, because KAVEH in that interval of 2 seconds can generate many blooms with their damage attack speed inside and imbued by the ulti and chi. Because of its elementary ability that forces the cores to explode inside but applies inside, and that does. Now let's go with the C6 that was said to be useless, but under this premise that I have just explained to you, not only is not useless, but is very powerful for KAVEH. This is there. Mental +3 that doesn't matter, and she X says while the ulti activates when KAVEH hit. Enemy with a normal attack loaded descending releases an additional inside blow on one that Basically does a percentage damage attack KAVEH. This just as important is that it is a hit inside that forces to explode all the cores inside. That this is the same thing that does. The elementary skill every 3 seconds. This makes that if every 3 seconds you have a hit, that forces to explode all the cores inside and is more damage inside that will make it apply inside. And will generate more cores in the field if you have enough water application with Shinkyu. Nor does Low make that if you wear a Nagaida, that the pulses of his elemental ability are every 2.5. If you have it Chero or 2.1, if you have it Cone in that 2-second interval, you're going to generate a gross core. Inside with KAVEH, because the only inside that is actually applying in field that does not have that interval of 2 seconds that is born is KAVEH, then KAVEH, if you will take advantage of all. His passives in the team of KAVEH, Norlo, Nagaida, and Shinkyu, and here the defensive contribution of this team. But you can carry an Amber prototype in Nagaida so that it is born every time. Pulls the ulti every 13.5 seconds, heals the whole team, then KAVEH does its function perfectly and apply all of the passives that happens if you don't play this team in play. Another team where there is another inside that generates more ticks than born as a cabbage like the Traveler KAVEH. Does not generate as many blooms, and you lose both Shanks and C4, as your entire mastery, and KAVEH could arrive. To seem useless for that is that it was said that KAVEH, because it was not so strong, serves us for blood, etc. And so on, because it was misconceived its playability, but you have a team that you actually have Nagaida. You have a Shinkyu, you have a Neither Low, and you have a KAVEH, which is the best in slot where you take advantage of everything. This is why it was spoken and it was said about KAVEH, but KAVEH in Bloom, if you want to play this variant with Nagaida. Amber is very powerful and enables you the first, second best hyper lumen of the game now sets. You have 2 options mainly, but here I will explain something very important KAVEH will always have. That, go Golden Dreams to maximize their mastery because as you see, has an incredible amount of synergies with mastery, and second option, KAVEH could also use the Forgotten Flower of Paradise. Since what I have explained to you that KAVEH generates the reactions of Bloom, and even forces them to. Exploit with Chiandir with your elementary ability also has synergy with the Forgotten Flower of Paradise, not 100%, but also uses it below the Saurian's Sleep that gives you much more. Mastery, and you prefer mastery because I carry it Memories of the Forest, because as comes the Nagaida team we need. At least a character that carries Memories of the Forest, and my born concretely that I teach it to you quickly around here carries Golden Dreams because in others. Teams I go with Beisu Memories of the Forest or with Tignari Memories of the Forest, with which the solution in my account specifically was to carry this Lord Memories of the Forest but KAVEH mainly. And in all cases like best in slot with a lot of difference you need the full Golden Dreams, and then that you need a lot of mastery and a lot of energy because here I have Mastery Recharge. Mastery good here, I have no mastery could have here mastery, and be better a lot recharged. Mastery 13 of recharge your stat, that serve us nothing mastery. 20 of recharge and mastery 12 of recharge, as you see it is triple mastery and a Barada of recharge because it has cost of 80 with which I recommend minimum 180, but even to have prime alt and be comfortable 190 recharge so that serve weapons well. Their best weapon today is the Floriolet Iron that you see on screen. That is a event weapon that gives us 110 Master's Degree in passive, gives us 96, with which gives us more than 200. Mastery is the game's controller that gives us the most mastery if you don't have the Floriolate Iron. There are 2 alternatives. Number 1, there's a 3-star weapon because many will say to the Blinder of the Rain that gives me mastery, not the Blinder of the Rain gives us mastery. But gives us less mastery than a 3-star weapon. The second Master's alternative is the Great Bloody 3-star sword you're seeing on screen. That's a weapon that, in fact, Splash Out of Dialogue comes out and gives us more mastery than the Rain Blinder is its second best option. The Great Bloody Sword, and your third best option that would even surprise you not coming. Not bad is Sacrifice, does not give mastery, but by hitting with elementary ability you can reset the elementary ability to generate more particles for himself and the equipment to force him to. Dendro cores explode with an extra elemental and gives us 30 recharge that to KAVEH comes very well because it suffers from heavy recharge for the cost of 80 and is its third best alternative. As you see, the weapons you use KAVEH are all 4 stars and relatively free to play this. You can have it a lot without using this one here, the Bloody 3-star sword, and it comes out in the Gacha throwing random, with which you will have 25,000 RIF, and this was free event, does not require weapons. Of 5 stars and now stats you need to try to exceed 800 of mastery, but that in 200 with the Nagita Bufo if you go to this weapon because it activates the 96 extra his Talent of Ascension. That gives you 100 more mastery the consonants within. That gives you another 100 mastery if you carry. Right now, Orion Dreams would win another 100 master's degree, with which I would put 1400 of fort. Mastery and recharge try to get close to 190. I have less, and I do have to do weird things and everything to be able to generate enough energy, but really KAVEH is a shame if you need close to. 190 is complicated substats, but you have to try to get those 190 out so that it is permalting. If not, then triple mastery and all but the weapon, then you have to put the sacrifice for the plot. And ready and within the constellations and talent, I have explained to you why it is not used. KAVEH, or why they say no, or because there are many people who try to put with the opinion that, well, it's not good if it's good in certain circumstances if it's good in a very good team. Time, and it is true that play fit and low for Bloom, and then use Nagita without Q, as it limits you. Lots of teams, because without a tour, you will want to play them on many other teams, and that is totally true, and that besides that equipment of KAVEH has a null defensive contribution. It is true that without Q gives you mitigations and mini-Gillen, but a tour would not be cured in any way, and neither would be cured in no way with which he takes his Amber tool with perhaps Amber prototype. You're losing the potential for that Nagita to carry a master's weapon that can be played in other teams, or in that same doing a little more damage with the blooms than she herself gems. So maybe it has its limitations, but it's specific to KAVEH equipment here in this video. You have all the secrets as I just explained and the concrete team so that you really learn. To take KAVEH to the sky and rewind the abysses surely be here accompanied by gameplays. Because I will try to record them to add them here with the current abyss, fit second half, that yes, can burst the second half by applying Hydro and is quite powerful so little bitty. More, I hope you enjoyed very much the building of KAVEH. It does not last half an hour but lasts 15, almost good. 17-18 minutes, fine truth, leave a good like a good ulti of Bennett, subscribe, you'll leave a good comment for the algorithm. Thanks for enjoying watching the video and the channel, take care. Having a very good day wouldn't be tiny and chaito.